Today, we are near the South Downs in West Sussex, an area of outstanding natural beauty. The land here lends itself to farming and is popular with tourists seeking activities in the countryside's fresh air.
In tonight's episode, we'll be looking into the best practices of farm diversification. This has become increasingly commonplace as many farms have had to think laterally to survive. If farms didn't diversify to rectify themselves financially, then in some cases the farm would have to be closed. In fact, more than half of England's 57,000 farms have diversified in some form, according to figures released by DEFRA. The Farm Business Survey 2008-2009 claimed the total income from diversification activities was 300 million last year. This shows that it could provide a substantial extra income for a farm. We will start by visiting Fisher's Dairy Farm, who diversified their farm in 2012. We asked Sally Hutchings, the owner, what made her want to diversify her farm in the first place.
Well, we had a disused agricultural building and we didn't have any other use for it other than to turn it into accommodation. It made financial sense and it was a way of preserving it.
As you can see, Sally didn't feel like she had any other choice. She needed to use her buildings to do something and do what made financial sense.
We will continue by looking at the business startup, marketing and quality and experience within diversified farms in the area. These three factors are key elements in developing accommodation diversification.
Between 2007 and 2015, 5% of the 57,000 farms in the UK had diversified into accommodation. We asked Diane from Canute Cottages why they specifically chose accommodation instead of any other option like a conference venue.
And why did you specifically choose accommodation instead of other options like a conference venue or
Well, first of all, we had to be able to get planning permission for it, and this is in an area of outstanding natural beauty, and there's quite strict controls, and there was scope within that we revised from planning to do holiday accommodation, and it was them who suggested disabled access, which is already something that we've gone for at Cobnor in other aspects of the farm here.
So, Diane made her final decision to diversify into accommodation based on the knowledge of the planning permission regulations. West Sussex supports farms by offering a lead grant to help small business growth and farm diversification to encourage rural tourism to the area. However, this isn't always the best possible option for individual situations, as Sally Hutchings from Fisher Dairy Farm found.
Initially we looked at getting some leader grant funding, which would have given us 50% of the total renovation cost. But going through the application process, we realised that it wouldn't help because we wouldn't be able to live in the renovated barn if our circumstances changed.
Financial support can make a major difference to your business success. It's important to consult the awarding organisations at an early stage in your decision-making process so that you can plan. Once the initial concept is secured, one of the crucial factors in creating a successful business is to understand the customer market and their needs. Market research is important for every business and should not just be a one-off activity. Successful businesses conduct research on a continual basis to keep up with the market trends, attract more customers and to maintain a competitive edge.
what type of market research did you do beforehand, if any, into what the market would be for having holiday cottages down here?
I guess we talked a lot with advisors from the Harbour Conservancy and with locals in the know, and to be honest it was just fairly obvious really that Chichester Harbour, you know, we're right in the most beautiful part in the middle of it, and there was very little accommodation for people, so to be honest it was a no-brainer from the start that you know when they say location,
Yeah.
we've got the location. If we built anything at least halfway decent, you know.
Following on from this, it is thought to be important to have a specific target market, but Sally from Fisher Dairy doesn't necessarily agree.
Not really. Until we started, we didn't really know who we were going to get. And we thought if we started targeting one group, we would limit our customers instead of being open to all of them.
From a good understanding of the market, successful marketing materials and channels can be developed, and it is important to understand the relationship between the two.
How do you advertise your accommodation?
Well, the main thing is our website, and we modernised our website about a year ago, and that has made a huge difference. It really has helped our marketing and get a lot more people sort of scrabbling to come here. So the website is the main thing. We do get assessed by as 4-star self-catering accommodation. So we're linked to Visit Chichester and Tourism South East.
Okay.
There are many different advertising strategies used by farm businesses in the promotion of accommodation. The key is to find out which forms of advertising reaches the most customers and intercepts competitors' customer traffic. In different industries, businesses will always have competitors. Therefore, it is essential to understand how competitors can have influence on your business and how they compare in terms of the similar product and the service that they are providing.
Do you think nearby competitors have a major effect on your business at all?
No, I don't think so. No, we've been, I remember years ago, Lorraine, who set up Key Quarters, she came to look, and we're very happy for her to set up her very good accommodation, and no, it doesn't feel like we're trying to fight off competition.
Due to the diversity of outdoor activities in the area, there is high demand for catering accommodation in West Sussex, and so, despite all the competition, there is enough trade. However, it is still important to use every available factor that could bring people in. As an area of outstanding natural beauty, Chichester Harbour, which is one of the few remaining undeveloped coastal areas in southern England, attracts over 1 million tourists each year. Capitalising on what the local area can offer can be a huge marketing advantage and used to pull customers in.
Do you use the surrounding area as an advantage to your business?
Absolutely. We're passionate environmentalists here in every way. We absolutely love it here, and we try and look after it, the land and the waterfront and the woodland and everything, so that it both looks beautiful and improves its biodiversity all the time, and that and it's all as gorgeous as possible, really.
Once the market's needs have been understood, it's important to benchmark your accommodation against others to check that you're offering an equal or better experience. Then, identify your unique selling point, something which differentiates you from the competition to allure customers.
I think we stand out in quite a few ways. One would be the location, and just being able to have stunning walks around the harbour from the doorstep and views across the Bosom Channel and our private foreshore. So that has to be number one. Number two, I think we try and do quality in every aspect of what we do. And that includes, we really like people, so we're friendly, we make friends with our guests, we're interested in them, we really like to know what they think about things. I think that really makes a difference. And then we are green, we're seriously committed to looking after the environment and combating climate change, so we put in renewable energy in every possible way. We've done all kinds of moves to be as green as possible, and people really appreciate that. And I think the dog thing is important. A lot of people come here with a dog and want to enjoy that. Those are the main things, I think.
Okay.
Despite offering high quality accommodation with a unique selling point, it is essential to gather guests' first impressions of the business and the peaks and pits of their stay, whether they're positive or negative. This is the only way to be sure that you're providing the product that they want, and so can help your business to develop and improve, creating a good reputation and encouraging even more bookings.
Do you welcome customer feedback? Does it help Self-Catering into a better business?
Absolutely. If there's one thing I'd say to any other person running it is get as much feedback as possible. So we have a very friendly feedback form, which isn't the usual rather dry one, and gets people to say what have you liked most, what's disappointed you, marks out of 10 for overall things, and we really, really want your feedback, your criticism, your ideas. And that is, I just can't tell you how helpful that is, from both picking up little things that might have gone wrong or things that might be falling off the wall through to major ideas and good feedback for other guests. It's such a good idea.
Having places where guests can stay while on holiday brings tourism which can influence the surrounding businesses. These can be good impacts and can build a positive relationship between you and the surrounding businesses.
Do you think your accommodation has a positive impact on the local area? So locals using the local businesses like restaurants and shops are having come to your...
Yeah, it definitely does. We've got a fantastic village pub, the Old House at Home, which is a mile away, and we really need to bring a lot of business to the pub to keep it going. Our visitors love that pub, for instance, and they get a lot of trade from us, and that's good for the whole village. They use all the local farm shops, and obviously have quite big spends in Chichester and Portsmouth, and they use like the ferries and the guided tours around the harbour and the activities centre here.
One of the current most pressing factors in the tourist industry is the importance of sustainability. Sustainable accommodation is important for farms because a high number of visitors and visitor infrastructure will ruin the authenticity and ambience of the natural environment, the whole reason why they come. In order to achieve a truly sustainable tourist let, the behaviour and impact of visitors, both positive and negative, need to be fully understood. Because of this reason, Diana Beale from Canute Cottages has ensured that her accommodation stays really sustainable.
We've worked really hard on this, not just at the holiday cottages, but the whole farm and estate. So we've come off oil as much as possible. So for instance here you see we have a wood burning Rayburn where there used to be an oil burning Arga. At the holiday cottages we've gone for the most efficient heating and hot water system possible, and we have 2 sets of solar panels which heat the water, and we also have quite a big set of solar photovoltaic panels which generate electricity. We've gone as far as we can with insulation, local, natural, biodegradable products, and we're as careful as possible about maximising recycling, energy efficient light bulbs, you name it, we've done it. And for quite a while we were in the Green Tourism Business Scheme, which comes and assesses you for your green credentials every 2 years. And we had, was it 3 or 4 successive gold awards from them. So we really did try and be at the top of the game now.
Now we proceed by visiting Sally, who tells us about how else the economy has had an effect on her self-catering accommodation.
Our first year was fairly good. Our second was really good, but this year has been tough, and I put that down in large part to the weakening euro, as 15 to 20% of our visitors were from mainland Europe, and we have had none from Europe this year. This, of course, has made going to France cheaper for people here, so they have been going abroad more instead of holidaying in the UK, and it's made quite a significant difference, about 20% less occupancy.
Diversifying can be a positive business venture, but the process can be made a lot simpler by taking support and the most crucial advice from farmers who have already diversified. Is there one main thing that you could recommend to somebody who is thinking about diversifying in self-catering accommodation?
Do your research. Unless you already have a building, I wouldn't say that there's a huge amount of money in it to be worth building a whole building especially for it. Then understand the cost of doing it. It is very expensive to run and a huge amount of time. The main cost being turnaround cleaning and laundry, as it has to be done to such a high standard and made spotless. Most people don't iron their bedding, but when people are paying to stay, that's what you have to do.
Learning from others' experience will increase the chances of creating your own successful self-catering accommodation business. Once a farm business knows what works for their farm in terms of the changes and business ventures that they take on, it can be a good idea to look for new opportunities, whether they are the expansion of an already existing accommodation or into a whole new diversification business venture.
There's always a debate in my eyes as to whether to let it on an annual basis instead of holiday homes. The revenue numbers are marginal, but the difference is in tax allowances. For example, what we can claim as wear and tear. Annual lets would be a lot less work heavy for us on the turnaround, so maybe we'll change to this in the future.
Next week, we'll be visiting the Lake District National Park, famous for its abundant wildlife and stunning scenery. We'll be finding out what they do to protect this beautiful landscape.
And that's all we've got time for in this week's episode of Rural Ways. We hope to have given you an insight into the process of creating tourist accommodation, as farms have already done in West Sussex. For more information or further advice on setting up your own self-catering accommodation, please visit DEFRA or www.gov.uk/guidance/diversifying-farming-businesses.